Hey guys, welcome back to some more Fallout. Sorry I missed today, caught a cold, felt like shit. Moving on. Going to be starting the Outcasts and Remnants mod, DLC, whatever. It's the sister expansion to Fusion City. Going to be starting that today. Then, of course, as soon as that's done, we're going to be doing Nuka World.
Lost track of how many blisters I got.
Dude, you're not wearing pants. Oh, okay, there he goes.
We've got to do something to stop these raider attacks.
Well, you have a big-ass gun. Why don't you try using it? Welcome to the Brotherhood of Gold. Now, before I go in there, this mod has a crap ton of lore and a lot of good voice lines, so I'm gonna mute myself for a lot of the time, just so you guys can listen to this stuff, alright? If I need to talk, I'll turn my mic back on.
Hey there.
Hey there. Something I can help you with?
What's the story with this place?
Well, for starters, my name's Chuck Finley. Part of a group of outcasts from the Brotherhood of Steel. We're from the DC area. We call ourselves the Brotherhood of Gold, and this bunker is our home in the Commonwealth.
What are you guys doing out here?
We're on a bit of a crusade. We're here to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless. You know, in a world full of criminals who operate above any law. Now listen, sorry about that. Our entertainment options here are kind of limited. We end up watching a lot of Knight Rider reruns. But to answer your question, you could say we're like the Brotherhood of Steel, but without the whole, Nazi vibe. We generally believe that all sentient humanoids have a right to exist. So we don't start fights with others just because their skin or DNA is a little different than ours. Except feral ghouls. Fuck those guys. And come to think of it, most super mutants too. Bunch of bitchy little girls. Anyway, we mostly do mercenary work to pay the bills, hostage rescue, wild animal control, escort some travelers to and from major trading hubs, shit like that. We try not to be evil. And of course, we search and accumulate as much technology as we can.
Why did you leave the Brotherhood in the first place?
It's complicated, but the short version is, the Brotherhood of Steel started out on the West Coast, shortly after the Great War, and its original mission was to hoard pre-war technology. A little over 30 years ago, the Brotherhood sent a group east to explore. And well, that group eventually settled in the DC wasteland, which is where most of the crew here grew up. Our leader was a man named Owen Lyons. So, in addition to acquiring technology, Lyons believed it was important to be a good neighbor and help out the local community, which eventually didn't sit well with most of the other Brotherhood. You see, we were involved in a massive project to provide clean drinking water to the DC wasteland, and, well, that's a long fucking story. Over time, more and more of the members of the East Coast Brotherhood chapter began to view assisting the DC community as a waste of our resources. Then Owen Lyons died. Let's just say shit got interesting after that. A few years passed and there was a power struggle, and ultimately our choices were to follow the 16-year-old mini-Hitler who was appointed elder by the West Coast Brotherhood, are to leave for greener pastures. Most people stay. We chose to leave. That was 4 years ago. We headed northeast to the Commonwealth and been making a living here ever since.
You're in charge?
Me? Oh, hell no. I might be the oldest, but no one's actually really in charge. You know, we came from a strict hierarchy with the Brotherhood of Steel, and we all saw how great that turned out. The chain of command was so inefficient it would get us all killed if we tried that bullshit here. You see, according to traditional Brotherhood rules, everything has to run through proper channels. Theoretically, if an elder's taking a dump and runs out of toilet paper, well, then there's a scribe in the stall next to him. The elder isn't technically allowed to ask the scribe directly for the toilet paper. Oh no. He's got to run the request through several levels of command just to wipe his own ass. It's a goddamn ridiculous example, but you get the point. We're a small enough group and we don't need a formal hierarchy fucking us up. If someone has a mission, they recruit a team from within our ranks, and then they become leader for that mission. For internal disputes over stuff like who took so-and-so's yogurt from the fridge, well, a neutral arbitrator or jury of peers typically settles those little bullshit scenarios.
I wanted to ask you about something else.
Okay, shoot.
Just looking to do a little trading?
Sure, take a look.
Hey,
Hey there. Something I can help you with?
how can I get in?
Well, obviously we don't let just anyone in. The only reason you made it through the front door is our scouts spotted you a mile away and radioed in that you matched the description of the person who's been taking out raiders lately. So we turned off the turrets and figured we'd give you an audience. We work on a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours system here. If you want in, you gotta do something for us first.
So, what did you have in mind? I'm gonna need some more in the way of details.
The job is to retrieve a weapon for one of our brothers. As background, we do a fair amount of work transporting traders and patrons to and from Fusion City. It's a goddamn dangerous job providing transportation through the glowing sea, but it does pay well. One of our crew goes by the name Grabthar. Well, he got denied entrance to Fusion City after taunting the guards there, and they confiscated his weapons and supplies. Anytech, the security division at Fusion City, never really formally charged Grabthar with anything, but the items they confiscated ended up being sold at one of their public auctions. And one of the items they took was Grabthar's sledgehammer. That weapon has a lot of serious sentimental value to Grabthar since it was given to him by his late brother Warvin right before he died.
Get to the point. What do you need?
Right. So Anytech holds public auctions every now and then, and that's where they sell their confiscated property. I think the last one was over at the church in Nantic Banks. Anyway, head over to Nantic Banks and see what you can find out about the auction and track down the sledgehammer. Bring the weapon back to me and we'll see about letting you in the bunker. Deal?
If I help you, I want something up front.
No deal, pal. You help us, we help you. But you need to take the first step. So what do you say?
Okay, I'll help you.
All right, I'll mark the location of the church on your map.
Stop right there. Any civilian passing through here is required to pay a fee of 500 caps.
How about knocking some caps off the price?
400? Can you afford that?
Come on. You can do better than that.
350. Final offer.
Ooh, I feel like you're about to say a number I'm really gonna like.
Okay, there is no way I can take less than 250.
What if I don't pay?
Bang. You're dead.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Sorry about this, friend. Orders are orders.
You can wash your hands after that. It can be unsanitary to handle the deceased.
Hey.
You need something, yes?
Hey.
This what strong carrying for human. Filthy ghoul! Time to die! Gonna be a good fight. Wounded. Scream. Good idea, human. Throw it up to your pet. Get off! Strong, thank you for that!
How's... Subtle. I feel better now.
Running elimination subroutines. Contact lost.
So, just for anyone wondering what the fuck that giant dog was, I have respawnable legendary creatures and boss mobs installed. Basically spread throughout the entire Commonwealth are, well, bosses and giant legendary creatures. They respawn and they don't tend to wander too far from their spawn points, but they're massive fucking fights most of the time. My baseball bat just does 5,000 damage, so... But, yeah, you might start seeing a lot more of those as I wander around.
Run away like cowards, afraid of straw.
I may have detected unusual... The enemy has been spotted.
Kill us all! Run away! This is what death looks like! No! Stupid dog!
Violent tendencies greatly decrease your life expectancy.
Scream! Scream for your worthless life! For that! Fighting human! Strong impressed!
Engaging evasive maneuver.
Huh? Don't think about it. Stay calm. Wasn't your fault. You did what you had to do. Excuse me.
Hey, are you the plumber?
No, I'm Jangles, the moon monkey.
Yeah, that boys. Looks like we got ourselves a comedian. The bathroom is downstairs. It's been out of order since we first opened. It looks like most of the pipes are gonna need replacement. Folks around here are getting fed up about heading outside each time to do their business. Last week, one of our guys, little Joey, headed outside to take a shit. Then Deathclaw showed up and tore him a new one. Don't get me wrong, I never really liked Joey, but as you can probably imagine, incidents like that aren't particularly good for business, if you know what I mean. Anyways, glad you're here. It'll be nice to get this place fully operational. So, do you need anything before getting started?
What's the story with this place?
Never been to a raider bar before, huh? We used to hang out over at Club Fusion, but we got banned. Bunch of oversensitive cunts running that place. So, we hang out here now. If you ask me, we're better off.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Sam. Sam Cruel. I'm originally from Sweden. The famine got pretty bad over there when I was a kid, so my family took a boat to the States. If they'd known in advance how brutal life in the Commonwealth could be, I doubt they would have made the same choice. They were killed in a super mutant raid when I was 13. We're running with this gang ever since. It's my job to keep tabs on settlements and other raider groups in these parts. Got a network of informants I used to keep our guys busy. Also useful when you need to find a plumber.
Just looking for something, and I'm betting you know right where to find it.
Check with Vadeva, downstairs. It sells weapons and armor. Also some weird shit. I tried not to ask too many questions. It's worth talking to if there's any goods you want to fence, but don't let the cheerful demeanor fool you. He's a stone cold killer. You get on his bad side, he won't just kill you, he'll fuck your corpse. And worst part, he won't even cuddle with it afterwards.
I'm good for now. Thanks.
See you around.
Yes?
Don't think about it. Stay calm. Wasn't your fault. You did what you had to do. This isn't anything like training. Shooting plywood. How's that supposed to get me ready for this hell?
Keep telling them we're running low on supply. Need to take more risks. Caravans ain't that well guarded.
Hey,
Hey, sexy bees.
what's the story with this place?
A few months back, Club Fusion, the most popular nightclub in the Commonwealth, banned all raiders from entry. The raiders were causing too many problems at the club, I guess, so Fusion City implemented various security measures to keep them out. But that didn't change the fact that raiders still need a place to get drunk, let loose, and stare at titties all night. So I set up shop here and opened a raider bar.
You're in charge?
Yeah, I run the place.
What kinds of things do you sell?
Almost anything and everything I can get my hands on. Rare artifacts, slutty outfits, you name it.
Nice to meet a friendly face.
Probably not what you expected walking into a raider bar, huh?
I wanted to ask you about something else.
Okay.
I'm looking around for something, and I'm betting you know right where to find it.
Oh yeah, the sledgehammer, I have that. The sledgehammer isn't for sale though.
What do you mean? Why not?
Tell you what, there's another weapon I'm trying to acquire. Track it down for me and I'll trade you the sledgehammer for it.
I'm gonna need more than that.
The weapon I'm looking for is a dildo bat. About a month ago, some guy walked in here desperate for caps and pawned off a bunch of stuff. It was mostly low value stuff, so I didn't think to examine the dildo bat carefully. I sold the bat to a guy named Will for 20 caps. A couple days later, another customer comes in asking for the bat. Of course, I asked him why on earth would he want to buy a dildo bat. He says because there's a treasure map hidden in the tip. I asked him what the map was too, and after some convincing, he confessed it was the map and access code to the treasure of Jamaica Plain. If we could find the treasure of Jamaica Plain, that would get this place fully operational. So what do you think? Are you up for tracking down that dildo bat?
Sure, why not? It's not like I have anything better to do.
The guy I sold the bat to lives in a bus just north of Fort Hagen, Red Rocket. Good luck out there. Any luck tracking down that dildo bat? Any luck tracking down that dildo bat?
I need a fucking drink.
I hate it when they beg. It's just you.
Little baby scared.
We are being shot at. Enemy unknown.
Stupid human.
Please.
You are weak. I am strong.
One of my duties is to serve.
Holy shit. Well, that happened. Even with all my defense and health regeneration, that thing fucking destroyed me. Oh my god. Respawnable legendary creatures and bosses. Welcome to the party.
Too easy. Time to die. Humans always fight! Stupid lady! Time to die! At all. Strong just getting started. Next time, fight better. Time to die!
The pain I inflict if possible. Railroad will never Resistance encountered. Hostile sensor reading detected.
We can...
Life signs detected.
Returning fire. Use logs for relevant data.
Out there. Somewhere.
Sensors result no enemies. The threat is over.
Hey honey, just wanted to say sorry again about the gag gift I got you. Honestly thought it would give you laugh and take your mind off things, but I realized now it was in poor taste. Crazy thing is, I was telling Steve about it, and he apparently told one of his friends, Dave, who wanted to buy the dildo bat off me 3 times what I paid for it. Crazy, right? Anyway, I'm heading over to Fort Hagen parking garage to meet Dave and make the sale. I'll be right back. Love, Will. Okay, I gotta go over there.
You're dead.
Let's go get that dildo bat.
Huh? Let's do this. Stop my arm! My leg! This place is so violent.
You got him!
Enemies have been dispatched.
The heretic now understands the divinity of the glow.
What? It couldn't be. A test for my faith!
Oh, there is to be fighting.
You can't hide forever.
Some of you may have noticed that the children of Adam are not attacking me. That is because the Sigil of Atom. It's part of the Children of Adam Overhaul mod. It's crafted using a mother icon, which I got from Far Harbor. Basically takes up a necklace slot or something along those lines, and as long as I'm wearing it, the Children of Adam that patrol the Commonwealth treat me as an ally. Can't talk to them or anything, but they don't attack me on sight, so that's nice. Steve, where the fuck are you? I killed that Will dude for you to get the treasure map hidden in the dildo bat, and then you don't show up to keep your end of the bargain? I'm not waiting around. This place is crawling with synths. The gunners over at Mass Pike Interchange have expressed interest in buying the map. I'm heading over there later in case you catch me before then. Dave.
Is someone present?
I'll have to retrieve the dildo bat from the gunners.
Hello?
It's a good thing I'm in charge of the Institute, otherwise those synths would be ripping me to pieces.
You must be terminated now.
Oh, rogue synths. Fantastic.
Broken and dead.
You must be terminated. Primary sensor critically dead.
Threat no longer detected.
Stupid rogue synths. Alright, I'm off to go get the dildo bat, because that's apparently a thing.
An enemy may be utilizing stealth. How interesting. Stand still.
Time to die! Wrong deal!
Hostile sensor reading detected.
Attacking enemy.
You pay for that! Strong fight! Strong smash!
There we go.
Smashy! Smashy! Strong make you
And for the psychological. Here the CBD is not entire.
strong, thank you!
Hey,
Systems offline.
Strong kill!
Your actions could result in injury.
Catch!
Your termination is inevitable.
Damn, Curie's really liberal with those Molotovs I gave her. Strongly throws stuff when he can't reach. That's hilarious.
Not matter which head, just that!
Oh, here we go. Round 2. New legendary creature.
Wounded! You hit like a rag roach! Strong
One of my
cannot
duties
run.
is to serve.
Late wounded.
Yeah, that's still a problem. Unless you melt it,
Human health strong.
turn it into goo, the
Strong, not
corpse
human.
kind of just flies the fuck off. Mod Maker hasn't really been able to fix that. See if I can find the corpse. No. Oh well.
Scanners detecting sentient life. Alert level elevated. Resetting threat level. Weapons hot.
Take her out! Casualties! Engaging hostile!
Too easy.
Barnes, before you ask, yes, it's a dildo bat. Of course, it's gunner policy never to apply ownership in the event of a dildo. We always use the indefinite article a dildo, never your dildo, but I digress. The dildo bat is not important, but hidden inside the bat is a map to the fabled treasure of Jamaica Plain, along with the key codes, the key and the codes to access it. Please see this delivered safe to the brass at the Conchitate bunker ASAP. The map that is not the bat, or both, serves the app's purpose, whatever, you know what I mean. Thanks, Winlock.
Scream! Scream for your worthless life! Stop hurting! Victor spoiled!
You are serious! You know that?
Strong smash! Hot potato! Strong gonna kill you! Then strong gonna eat you!
Should have stayed in bed.
Welcome back. I see you got the bat. Any trouble finding it?
That all worked out in the end.
Nice work. As promised, there's a sledgehammer you wanted. Also, you can keep the dildo bat. I only needed it for the map.
So, it's abundantly clear to me that you're no fucking plumber. Normally I'd have you killed for lying to me. However, I've got a bit of an errand I need to perform, but I need an extra pair of hands. And in my line of work, extra hands are well paid.
What did you have in mind?
There's a rival gang, the Back Bay Players. They run a prostitution ring south of the river along Commonwealth Avenue, just northeast of Diamond City. Since this bar opened, the players have been unhappy that we've been cutting into their business. Seems like they wanted to send us a message. So, they captured two of our working girls, Mary Kate and Ashley, and demanded a ransom. I set up a time for the exchange, but of course it's a setup. The players have no intention of honoring the deal, so I have no intention of paying. But of course, if we want to maintain the bar's reputation as a decent place to work, we need to protect our girls and get them back home safe. The job is to head over to the players' territory, bring the girls back safely, and send the players a message. Also, rumor is that the players have acquired a large shipment of plasma weapons stolen from the gunners, and are looking for a buyer. There's some extra caps in it for you if you can track down and bring back that weapon shipment as well.
I have some questions first.
What is it with you and all these questions? The job is simple. Head to the location, free the girls, and acquire the weapons. Do you want to do it or not?
Alright, I'll do it.
Alright, head over to the Commonwealth Avenue to check it out. I'll mark the location on your map.
Search the area. For the Brotherhood.
Hey there.
Hey, look who's back. Any problems retrieving the sledgehammer?
I could use a stiff drink after all that.
All right. Looks like it's mojito time. Here's a keycard to access the bunker. Have a look around, make yourself at home. Feel free to use the supplies in the workbenches. If you want a little more history about our order, you can check out the terminals in our research library.
Tinker. Strong boy.
Rob everybody. Take all their stuff. Burn them all. No?
Getting there. Kind of annoyed at the moment.
Why are you annoyed?
Because I have a mod installed called Legendary. It's basically a Nuki Genesis for Fallout, right?
Right, you told me about this before, right?
Yeah.
The mod, at least.
Yeah, the problem is every time I kill something, unless I liquefy it and turn it into a pile of goo with my radioactive gun, the body just kind of fucks off into space.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Have you reported it as a bug to the creator?
Oh, many people have reported it as a bug. This mod is like severely out of date. It needs to be updated. Something fierce, but as far as I can tell, the guy hasn't gotten around to doing it yet. He hasn't added anything to Nuka World yet either.
This is what I was hoping for.
It's adding more of a challenge though, because I mean, right now I'm walking around with a baseball bat one-shotting folks, and then this big-ass fucking legendary behemoth with a skull and a star next to its name just come over and two-shots me.
Have they hired a maid? Good job.
So it's putting me in my place. But it's kind of disappointing when the body just kind of fucks off into space because these people need it.
So, off and on today, I've been working on my lab. I finally got it done and submitted.
With your cracked program that you downloaded off the internet?
Yes! To everyone who was paying attention to Baranorn's stream, this is how absurd my school is. We get a lab assignment for a computer lab. Using Unix, or particularly actually Linux, Ubuntu. And we're supposed to create a virtual server or a virtual desktop of it. Great, no problem. Except the lab took me over 8 hours to do. Our lab time is an hour and a half. So even if I was at the school doing this, where am I supposed to get the lab time? So, like, anyways, so long story short, in order to be able to do it at home, because we don't have access to the software outside of the school, I had to get an illegal copy of the software to run the virtual server. Because the Linux Ubuntu is free, right? That's not a problem. It's the virtualization process. This is just utterly ridiculous, because they should have provided the students with free if they were going to do this with the lab work, they should have provided the students like a student copies of the virtualization software, which they could have probably got a license for it that would have only lasted on their machines for the semester or something like that. I don't know. They didn't. So for Baranorn's sake, I finished my getting my position in amongst the leaderboards in Overwatch. I did the.
Oh yeah, I finished that earlier today.
Yeah, what did you end up at?
Silver, surprisingly. 6 losses, 3 wins, and a tie.
Really? I ended up in bronze. I had like 6 wins though. Tie and 3 losses.
Well, yeah. I mean, the system's always been flawed. It's based on what you do, not how you end up winning. Most of those matches
Means
I
that-
played Roadhog.
Means you get really screwed over if you're playing a shielding tank. Roadhog isn't a shielding tank; he's just a thug. But if you're doing, because I did Reinhardt in a lot of the matches, as well as in other matches I played support.
Yeah,
I didn't get to play DPS.
They reward some of the lesser played characters. If everybody plays DPS, they end up in bronze.
Oh well.
It's a skewed
Don't
system.
care.
Don't care. Had fun.
Yeah. Yep.
What am I up to right now? I'm wandering around the Brotherhood of Gold.
The Brotherhood of Gold?
Like a mess.
Brotherhood of Gold. It's an offshoot of the Brotherhood of Steel from the DC Wasteland from Fallout 3. They decided to split off and come here instead of working for a 16-year-old Hitler, which is basically Elder Maxon.
Which means that working for them is a good thing.
Yep. And they're not dicks.
Oh, have you seen the new Rick and Morty episode?
Yeah, I watched it.
Loopy Land?
That's some fucked up family right there.
Loopy Land, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Just when you think that they've been as dark and as messed up as they're gonna be, Loopy Land.
Loopy Land. I love the introduction that the guy gave when I came in here for what their system is like.
Yeah.
Somebody gets a job, they hire a team in-house, they're a leader for that mission. End of story, right? Everybody comes home, everybody's equal again.
Yeah, cool.
Brotherhood of Steel, they have a strict hierarchy, right? And they explained that they're small enough that they don't need that hierarchical bullshit slowing them down, right? Because the way he described it was, you can have an elder taking a shit with a scribe in this next stall, but he can't just ask that scribe for toilet paper if he needs it. No, he's got to go through a whole bunch of red tape and forms and all sorts of shit just to wipe his own ass.
That's actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no, I've been silent for a lot of the conversations because I want people to listen to them, and they're really funny. Because this is the sister mod to Fusion City, so this guy is the one that topped himself. Like he always does, like the massive background lore and all the hilarious voice lines and stuff. I mean, one of the missions I have right now is to go hunt down some hookers that got kidnapped by a rival gang of pimps. And they're wearing like...
You gonna smack those hoes?
No, I'm gonna go save those hoes, and the hoes' names are Mary Kate and Ashley.
Oh dear God.
No, if
that guy's having far too much fun with naming.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. I love his mods. They're massive too. Like this is a full-on DLC just on its own. It's a mod from the Nexus. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of wandering around the Brotherhood.
Thanks for stopping by.
Be right back though. I'll be back in maybe like a half an hour or two.
Alright, I'll still be here.
I gotta do some stuff. I finally got my lab done.
Can never have enough ammunition. Pricey though.
Hey there.
Hey.
Got any work?
Not at the moment. I'll let you know if anything comes up.
Your thoughts?
In a fight, you have to be careful not to break the little bones in your hand on someone's face. That's why I like bathrooms. Lots of hard surfaces.
Any news going around?
Rumor is, there's a submarine submerged off the coast south of the Boston airport.
On second thought, forget it.
Fair enough.
I must be daydreaming.
Excuse me.
If Dumb and Ugly had a child, it'd be a super mutant.
Put two in the head, and they'll stay dead. Advice to live by.
Hi.
Well, if you made it this deep into the Commonwealth, then you obviously know how to handle yourself.
Excuse me.
Not many doctors around these days. You should let me take a look at you.
Any news out there, Doctor?
I got nothing, sorry. Just trying to practice medicine.
Not now.
All right. Excuse me.
good place to fight. Single brother kill many enemies from here.
Wait there. Get out of my way. Come on.
My duty shift was long, but I'm glad we're making a difference out here. With your experience, you might actually fit in with the Brotherhood.
Oh, you got guts wearing that Pip-Boy in the Commonwealth. I can't believe someone hasn't tried to steal it yet.
Good to know there's still people out there willing to help others.
Whoa, hold up a second. Is that blood on you? The heck happened?
I don't think pharaohs want anything, except to kill whatever they run across.
Once you're in a fight, it's way too late to wonder if it was a good idea. Talk to Jesse. He's got a mission for you. Talk to Jesse. He's got a mission for you.
Pretty sure I'd rather be shot by raiders than torn apart by ghouls.
A girl doesn't like to be kept waiting.
Hey.
Welcome to our headquarters. I'm Jesse. Pleasure to meet you.
I found the remains of some Brotherhood soldiers. East of here, near Malden. Can you tell me about them?
That was likely Recon Squad Artemis. In 2284, about a year after our group left DC Brotherhood, Elder Maxon sent a 7-person recon team to the Commonwealth led by Paladin Brandis. The official purpose of the mission was to gather information and technology from the Commonwealth, but unofficially, they were also here to search for us. Our group didn't leave the Brotherhood of Steel on the best of terms. When our intel uncovered that a recon team had been sent after us, we had a choice. We could try to turn Paladin Brandis and his recon team over to our side, or we could ensure that his mission to the Commonwealth failed. We knew Brandis would be loyal to Maxon's way of thinking, so the safest course of action was to sabotage his team's mission. We weren't about to fight Brandis directly, so we tipped off some gunners about the presence of his recon team. Not her proudest moment, but it was one way to ensure our survival given Maxon's agenda.
Why did you leave the Brotherhood in the first place?
That's a complicated question. The short of it is that 4 years ago, Arthur Maxon, who was only 16 years old at the time, was appointed Elder of the DC Brotherhood. Maxon was a puppet who had the right last name and agreed to follow the traditional policy of the West Coast Brotherhood. His appointment as Elder primarily served to reintegrate the group known as the Brotherhood Outcasts. Within a couple of months, the Brotherhood's power armor colors changed from the traditional silver and blue over to the black and red colors the Brotherhood Outcasts wore. Then the flag changed, and officially the mission of the DC Brotherhood became solely to acquire and preserve pre-war tech. No more helping the community. This wasn't reintegration, it was a coup. Those of us loyal to the philosophy of Owen Lyons had become the minority. We were the outcasts now. So we waited for the right moment, gathered what technology we could, and using intel that Finley had gathered on his recon mission from 3 years earlier, headed for the Boston Commonwealth.
The Brotherhood has sent recon teams to the Commonwealth before, right?
Yes, Finley, who you've already met, led the first Brotherhood recon team into the Commonwealth in 2280. The intel that Finley obtained during that first recon mission was essential to our group's relocation to the Commonwealth in 2283.
You've betrayed the Brotherhood of Steel. That's unforgivable.
I understand where you're coming from, but follow the chain of dominoes. If Recon Team Artemis had succeeded, the Brotherhood of Steel would have sent even more soldiers to the Commonwealth. Soldiers who would need food and water and certain other desires satisfied. And make no mistake, the Brotherhood, under Arthur Maxon, feels entitled to take whatever they want. But at whose expense? You know where the fusion power plant that powers the Brotherhood's airship came from? They stole it from Rivet City. Removing the power plant made Rivet City uninhabitable and displaced everyone who lived there, all in the name of the greater good. When you get right down to it, besides the spiffy power armor, what's the real difference between a raider and a Brotherhood soldier who demands tribute from local residents? The Brotherhood of Steel may view themselves as liberators, but the people of the Commonwealth don't see it that way. What we did to Recon Team Artemis may have been cutthroat, but ultimately, it saved lives.
I wanted to ask you about something else.
Sure, go ahead.
Nice to meet a friendly face.
Great. I'm the head scribe here. What would you like to know?
What do you need help with?
Word is, we could use someone with your combat and tracking skills. So let me ask you something. What do you know about the Gunners?
Not a problem. Gunners are just raiders with better armor.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. We've been doing recon on the Gunners, trying to understand how they got access to Vertibird's power armor and plasma weapons. As far as we know, only the Enclave and the Brotherhood of Steel historically had access to that kind of advanced equipment and weaponry. We don't know how the Gunners can afford all these high-tech gadgets just from doing mercenary work. The Commonwealth is dirt poor, and the major settlements have their own security forces, so who's paying the Gunners? We also can't figure out why the Gunners sacked Quincy, a major trading hub, and then shut it down. If they didn't want to control trade through the city, what was the point of taking it? And more importantly, what's keeping the Gunners from capturing the other major hubs like Diamond City? So we've been mapping out their bases trying to figure out where their real HQ is. We recently tracked some Gunner soldiers to a suspicious-looking bunker on the southern part of Lake Kakatui. We suspect the Gunners' true leadership may be stationed there. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to infiltrate the base and retrieve any intel you can on what the Gunners are up to and who's funding them. It's a high-risk mission, but it could provide the break we've been looking for. Are you on board?
I live for danger. Where do I sign up?
Great. I'll mark the location on the map. The bunker is well guarded, so you'll want to take some backup with you. Talk to Ash before you head out. He's a good soldier to have along on a mission like this.
Stop complaining. Not want to hear you talk.
Hey, you ready to go fuck some shit up?
What? Who are you?
Sorry, I should have started with that. My name's Ash. Not much to tell, really. I believe in karma, lightweight armor, MSG, the combat shotgun, and good scotch. I think the research works of Proctor Quinlan are self-indulgent, overrated crap. The aliens are real, since they're people, and there ought to be a law against building settlements in flood zones. You met my dad, Chuck, when you first walked in. And of course, Jesse briefed you on the mission already. Anything else you want to know? Or are you ready to go hack up some Gunners?
Yes, absolutely. Let's get the hell out of here.
Right behind you.
Human hungry? Strong have meat to share?
Pretty sure I'd rather be shot by raiders than torn apart by ghouls.
regrettable occurrence.
Situation analysis finalized. No hostiles detected.
No life signs detected.
Hostile sensor reading detected. Institute protocol location under Institute control. Area patrol in progress.
Get some! Yes.
Strong feels strange, like enemy. He's watching. Who's ready to have their ass kicked?
Oh non, le turret has become active.
Throwing grenade!
You are facing an assassin's combat robot.
I would prefer if there was a whole lot less of that.
Assaultron engaged.
They're dangerous. Combat is quite vigorous exercise.
Coward!
Again, I
Afraid
have
of
survived the
straw!
hostilities. Have you found
Living
something
take what
interesting?
dead leave.
This place is so violent.
Hostile target locked acquired. Receiving lethal force
No quarter.
am a super mutant. I am unstoppable!
If there was a whole lot less of that.
As the remnants of the pre-war government, we, along with the survivors of certain vaults built by Vault-Tec, are the last known bastion of pure, unmutated humanity. Following the Great War, our ancestors waited patiently in their offshore shelter, monitoring background radiation levels for over a century until it was safe to repopulate and rebuild the mainland. But there was a problem. The effects of radiation had turned the mainland population into something less than completely human. To preserve the purity of the human race, outsiders were prohibited from joining our ranks. Even as we migrated from West Coast to Washington, D.C., and subsequently to the Commonwealth. While recent events have forced a revision of that policy, medical priority is still to be given patients with verified unmutated genes.
Terminal should open this.
Gonna be a good fight.
They're dangerous.
Find them, human.
Quite vigorous exercise. Violent tendencies greatly decrease your life expectancy.
What? Who's there?
Enemy detected.
What? Ah! Get it, dog!
Caution. I am...
That's it.
No cover. Not good place to fight.
While the control station oil rig possessed equipment that allowed our forefathers to monitor, communicate with, and control the vaults built by Vault-Tec, after the Great War we lost communication with most of the non-Vault-Tec bunkers and only know of their locations. We know little about the history of this bunker, except that it is a VIP vault, codenamed Fort Strongbad, intended for high-ranking government officials, very few of whom made it here before the bombs fell. The records of the original inhabitants indicate they left a couple decades after the war due to a shortage of food. When abandoning this bunker, they buried the entrance to keep it hidden. Fortunately, we knew the exact location from a pre-war list of bunkers and vaults originally maintained on the oil rig, and we were able to clear the rubble and sediment that was hiding the entrance. After the destruction of Raven Rock Base, our division was sent here to protect and preserve technology from falling into the hands of the Brotherhood of Steel. The Brotherhood's subsequent victories of the Project Purity reactor, Rockland, and Adams Air Force largely wiped out our presence in the DC wasteland. Except for the outpost in Chicago, we are the only known survivors of our organization. It falls to us to consolidate and rebuild. Our secondary objective in the Commonwealth was to salvage pre-war technology, starting with former known outposts at Poseidon Reservoir, Federal Surveillance Center, South Boston Military Checkpoint, and USAF Satellite Station. However, most of these stations had long since been abandoned and picked clean. The breaker switch at Linwood's Tower was used to tame Deathclaws, is still operational. We might be able to find a use for that. Yeah, I've been there. That was fun. The original plan of our DC counterparts to neutralize the subset of population with mutated genes is no longer feasible. What is left with our original group represents a fraction of 1% of the Commonwealth population. The division of labor would collapse if our original plan was successfully implemented. We've made material progress in clinical trials stabilizing Eden's FEV strain to target only super mutants and ghouls. Accordingly, the Commonwealth mission objective has been revised to destabilize in the area while we perfect the FEV strain and consolidate enough military force to fill the power vacuum once the new strain is released. Upon our arrival in the Commonwealth in 2277, the Minutemen were the largest military force. Our first order of business has been to infiltrate the Minutemen, covertly eliminate their leadership, and create infighting to undermine them. We are aware that events of the recent past have been rebuilding infrastructure, industries, and other necessities under our organization's traditional name politically impossible. As much as we generally want to help rebuild America, no one will trust us with the task. A rebranding is necessary. When it comes time to fill the power vacuum we create, we shall build an army of the people, under our control and off the radar of the Brotherhood of Steel. While events did not end well for Vault-Tec personnel, and the objectives of Vault 75 experiment were largely accomplished. They succeeded in producing a batch of super soldiers, stronger, faster, and smarter, with DNA untarnished by radiation. The experiment ended when the subjects revolted, killed the scientists, and took control of Vault 75. Upon our arrival in the Commonwealth, this group had already used their Pip-Boys to infiltrate and assume control of the second vault, Vault 95, and were calling themselves Gunners. While these Gunners had access to some degree of technology from the vaults, they lacked the equipment and training to become a military force that could challenge the Minutemen for control of the Commonwealth. But they had the manpower and a name that would allow us to remain in the shadows. We had the vertebrates, power armor, robots, weapons, and know how to use them. Compromising the no outsider policy seemed a reasonable compromise, since these particular outsiders were born with pure DNA. We've since had to compromise the policy further to expand power, allowing certain wastelanders into Gunners' ranks, and even a few former members of DC Talent Company. The Gunner Division does not have a favorable reputation with the public, but that is by design. We will continue playing both sides against the middle for now.
What the hell was that? You're mine now, rookie.
What?
Aw, man, come back! I was having fun.
Seriously, fuck, do you know that? The Commonwealth is ours!
Time's up, asshole.
Get some! That's why you don't screw with the Gunners.
Sweet.
Stop fiddling.
They went to the great public.
Now wear your guns around my neck.
That's it.
Hey, I think someone's out there. Oh, man, please don't be ferals again. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, you are on the terminal again.
Wanted a
I
fight!
suppose we should dispatch them.
Nice.
Cut her down!
Getting warmed up over here.
At least I can observe.
Come on! Pin him down!
You think that hurts strong? Here, you move too much. Catch! Get!
Their injuries were supposed to be the greatest loss up here. Studying physical injury could result in something, I suppose.
Potato!
Yahoo!
The modified FEV strain we brought with us from Raven Rock Lab is heavily modified substrain of the forced evolutionary virus that was developed by John Henry Eden. The substrain is based on a progenitor, the FEV curling 13 substrain or chemical corpse originally synthesized and tested at 2242. Eden updated the virus delivery mechanism so it could be inserted into a water purification system like the Project Purity system at the D.C. Jefferson Memorial. Unlike FEV curling 13, Eden's FEV strain does not target those that are pure humans without any DNA damage caused by radiation. Excuse me. Upon ingestion, Eden's FEV strain indiscriminately targets and eliminates supermutant schools, all other mutated creatures, and generally anything that has been at all affected by wasteland radiation. This includes any wastelander originally born in the wastelands and or heavily exposed to its background radiation and or other mutational hazards. The only people immune to Eden's FEV strain are the mutation-free pure humans, those born inside Vault-Tec vaults or similarly sealed environments who are unaffected by wasteland radiation. Our primary concern has been ensuring that the new FEV strain cannot be spread to humans. The research has hit a wall. A percentage of human test subjects injected with the strain are presented with fever and blue boils. However, neither the fever or the boils are contagious. We have been unable to isolate why this is happening and why it is only affecting a subset of the human population. Additional tests are ongoing. Eden's strain was impractical for use in the Commonwealth for two primary reasons. 1. The Commonwealth doesn't have a public water delivery mechanism similar to Project Purity Reactor. 2. Targeting impure humans is no longer a desired outcome. Our efforts in modifying the virus have focused on increasing the mutation threshold necessary in an organism before the virus has any effect, so that wasteland humans are not adversely affected. Another hurdle has been developing a delivery mechanism allowing the virus to effectively incubate and spread among the mutated population without infecting humans. The airborne delivery system we initially envisioned hit various developmental roadblocks that forced us in the direction of a weaponized projectile delivery system. Based on the results from our test subjects, a mutant whose skin is pierced with the projectile containing the FEV will start displaying symptoms within a week. During the incubation period, they will spread the virus via skin-to-skin contact with other mutants. Okay then.
Who's there?
Hey.
Time's up, bitch! Shit! Lost him! Kill them all! You're dead!
Did you hear something?
Throwing grenade!
What? What? Who?
What the?
Nothing there now.
Huh?
Transcript of Agent Garvey disciplinary hearing. Captain Todd, where the fuck have you been, Garvey? And what the hell is this, Garvey? It's a petty caps request, sir. Captain Todd, what on earth do you need 1,000 caps for? Garvey, a little flash money. Captain Todd, flash money? Well, let's see here. 400 caps for a colonial duster, 200 caps for a custom hat, 550 caps for a laser musket, requisition order for a vertibird escort. Captain Todd, I don't want to see any more of these funding requests. When am I going to see more credible intel? Garvey, I know that you're getting upset, and I know that you have reason to be upset, but let me tell you something, Captain, I'm close. Garvey, I'm getting so close now it's making me crazy because I can smell it, but it's in the air and I smell it. Do you smell it? Because I smell it. Captain Todd, all I smell is your bullshit. For 5 months you've been pouring caps down a bottomless hole. Where are the results at the end of this rainbow? Garvey, wait a sec, Captain. I just thought that if there was a problem, Captain Todd, don't think, Garvey, it makes my dick itch. The truth is this division has fronted you a fortune and my ass is on the line. I okayed all this shit, Captain Todd. I must be out of my mind to let you keep talking me into this crap, but I can't pull out until I get some valuable intel or my career is finished, but I promise you I won't go down alone. I'm going to give you 3 months. If I don't see any results by then, I'm going to cover my own ass. How do you like that arrangement? Garvey, if we only have 3 months to pull this off, I'm going to have to go deep undercover. I'm undercover deep now, but I'm going to have to go deep undercover. So if you sign that paperwork for me, I'm going to go so deep, sir, you won't even know where I am. People are going to try to radio me like, hey, Preston, and they're going to get no answer because I'm going to go deep undercover. Captain Todd, I'm tired of your bullshit, Garvey. You were chosen for this assignment because of your prowess for deception. But don't pull that shit with me. You've got 3 months to infiltrate the Minutemen leadership. If I don't see more results by then, I'm going to grind your ass in a dog meat. You got that? Garvey, deal, I understand. I'll have a dog meat ass. Now, will you please sign the authorization for my flash money, and don't worry, I'm on the job, Captain Todd. That's what I'm afraid of. Ooh, Preston Garvey's a spy. I've been able to infiltrate the Minutemen inner circle, serving under Colonel Hollis. He's an old fart, was previously in charge of a squad of Minutemen left without a base of operations after the death of General McGann and the Mirelurk invasion of the castle. Without the castle, the Minutemen don't have a means of long-range communication, so they aren't responding fast enough for calls to help. By the time they arrive, sometimes the damage has already been done, and they don't get paid for their efforts. The Minutemen are showing signs of strain, and General Joe Becker has no clear successor. I've been busy planting seeds of discontent. It's starting to work. Infighting within the Minutemen has accelerated. General Becker is the only thing holding the coalition together. The Minutemen have become weak enough that General Becker is participating in battles, not on the front lines, but the opportunity for friendly fire exists. Eliminate Becker and the rest of the dominoes will fall behind him. I'll need to wait for the right scenario to make it look like an accident. Mission accomplished. Rip General Becker. Wasn't even me that pulled the trigger. As predicted, the Minutemen have been unable to decide on a successor, and the infight is beginning to boil over into an all-out civil war with the Minutemen. Caravans and settlers aren't paying. Food is becoming scarcer. and certain Minutemen divisions are beginning to employ tactics that resemble the raiders they're supposed to be protecting against. The power vacuum you tasked me with creating has come to fruition. Give it a couple months and it will be safe for the Gunner Division to start filling the void. I've been hanging out at Fusion City a lot lately, 100% business, I swear. Here's the deal. The leadership at Fusion City hates that Quincy is the trading hub directly on the route between Boston and the eastern seaboard cities southwest of here. If Quincy were eliminated, Fusion City would be the logical alternative for traders heading north to Boston. Fusion City's projections are that their revenues would see a 25% increase with Quincy out of the picture. They've started a propaganda campaign against Quincy, talking about some weapons of mass destruction bullshit. Whatever, apparently people there are buying it. Fusion City wants someone not directly associated with their security forces to launch a preemptive strike against Quincy and shut it down as a trading hub. The Gunner Division is the logical choice. Agent Clint is on board, but he'll need to blow his cover and publicly switch sides to make it work. I'll make sure Colonel Hollis responds to the calls from Quincy for help. You'll have to let me get away with a small group of survivors to sell it and keep my cover intact. If successful...
Always be back.
Sorry, I'm just reading lore. If successful, this will put the final nail in the coffin and I'll effectively be the last of the Minutemen. Then we can implement the endgame, building an army of the people under our control to take back the Commonwealth from the Gunners as we gradually transition the Gunner personnel into new Minutemen recruits. Thanks for making the escape from Quincy look good. I did run into a bit of trouble, though, with the Raiders and Concord on the way back to Sanctuary. You'll never believe what happened, though. Out of nowhere, this badass shows up wearing a blue vault suit and mows down all the Raiders, then offers to help lead us to Sanctuary. Didn't make sense to me because this person talked about their missing kid. Why help us? I'm thinking, go look for your missing son, right? But no. This vault suit character starts building housing, planting crops, and setting up water and electricity for us in Sanctuary. At this point, I'm baffled. What the fuck is wrong with this person? So I told them I wanted to rebuild the Minutemen, give them a list of local settlements that need our help. And believe it or not, a few days later I got word that all the settlements want to join the Minutemen. Apparently this Vault Dweller gets some weird satisfaction from rescuing idiots. So I made them the General of the Minutemen and sent him off to new rounds of errands. The thing is, now these settlements the General has rescued are starting to produce more because they feel protected. Of course, the demand for good guy mercenaries only exists to the extent that there are bad guys to fight. So I've been tipping off raiders about the new settlements, letting them know when the General is going to be off somewhere else. In exchange, we get a cut of the proceeds. But that got me thinking. Leadership has never been thrilled with the non-purebloods we've led into our organization. What if we use this as an opportunity to get rid of some of the undesirables in our ranks? At least the Gunner conscripts. The same way I tipped the raiders off when it's safe to raid a settlement, I can tip you off when it's not safe, and you can send the expendables out to do a raid. It would be an easy mechanism to root out any dissenters as I gradually transition the Gunner personnel into the ranks of the Minutemen. In the meantime, I'm going to convince the General to help us take back the castle so we have a form of long-range communication that makes it less suspicious that I seem to know when and where all these settlement attacks are taking place. We also need to discuss the Institute and Brotherhood of Steel, as they, along with the teleportation problem, are the last impediments to us expanding control over the entire Commonwealth. I may be able to use the General to help do the dirty work for us against those guys. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm done. Hello?
Hello?
I'm all done now. I was reading lore, sorry. You guys back?
Yeah. Please be back.
Perfect.
Someone there?
What the? You're mine now, rookie!
Later, I will review these logs for relevant data.
Connor! But you should have stayed in bed, lady.
Fighting the Enclave right now.
What's that? Good fighting, human. Strong impressed.
We appear to be under fire.
Want this one's head? Strong fires!
Yeah, you fuck them up strong. Good job.
Nothing. But Strong still watch. What? Strong find you!
Your enemies have been dispatched. Engaging evasive maneuver.
to die!
You are seriously fucked! You know that?
Related maladies. You should wash your hands of it. It can be unsanitary to handle the disease. Your pulse and vital signs are still within acceptable
Assignment.
parameters.
What about your assignment?
I'm probably gonna have to take Wednesday off school assignment. Not the lab I just finished, but the assignment is to do next week.
I am still intact.
Ain't my first gunfight, rookie.
Good. Yeah.
Hey.
We were successful, teleporting a box of sugar bombs from the workshop to the lab. Tasted just fine after opening the box on the other side, but our experiments with larger objects have been unsuccessful. For a person to teleport, the teleporter's computer has to pinpoint and analyze all of the 7 times 10 to the 27th power atoms, 7 billion atoms, and that make up the human body. It then has to send the information to another location where a second machine reconstructs the person's body with the exact precision. But nothing in the laws of physics fundamentally forbids teleportation of large objects, including humans. Size shouldn't matter. Vault Tech and the Institute have made it work. What are we missing? It must be running into a computational processing limit.
Hey, who's there? We're hot! Someone's out there! No need to hide. It'll all be over soon.
Engaging hostile!
Think you can hide?
Get some!
We are being shot.
Killed him!
Come on!
Continued hostilities is not advised.
Cat, I'm trying to do homework.
Look out! Run away! Look at your death!
Wow. I just hit this guy so hard he got ejected from the power armor.
Why is everything
I wasn't aware that was possible.
Did not care. Things
I hope there's
now.
a bounty on you. You should have stayed in bed, lady.
Motherfucker! Violent tendencies is the way to decrease your life expectancy.
Good idea, human.
Kill 'em all!
There is a lot more of this. Let's believe.
Still kicking? Jesus.
Only one of us survived this.
We have succeeded in taking over most of the strategic locations in the southern half of Boston, but have halted further expansion to the areas such as Diamond City, Goodneighbor, and Bunker Hill. We lack sufficient intel on our enemies, who also have interests in those areas, and can't risk ruffling feathers without more intel. Specifically, we're in the dark about their teleportation capabilities, as we have so far been unable to make human teleportation work. What we do know is that both the Institute and Vault-Tec were able to teleport humanoids anywhere in the Commonwealth. What we don't know is a much longer list. Are they able to teleport an entire army into our base? If not, are the constraints energy or computational in nature, or do they lack enough information on the teleportation destination? In the middle of a battle, can they teleport our personnel into, for example, a pit of molten steel? Or does the person being teleported have to wear a device that lets the teleporter pinpoint their coordinates? Are they able to teleport a nuke into our base and then detonate it remotely? If the Institute and Vault-Tec are capable of these things, what has prevented them from using the technology? We caught a break recently when we captured a Vault-Tec operative. Prior to interrogation, we removed what appeared to be a tracking device on his chest to prevent Vault-Tec from teleporting him out. 3 weeks of interrogation uncovered very little. Regarding the location of Vault-Tec's bunker, he would taunt us that even if we found it, even if we knew where it was, he still couldn't get in. Our working theory is that the vault entrance is not readily accessible via the surface. It may be underwater or buried beneath the earth. We assume that there is a secondary access restriction beyond that, presumably a retinal scan or access card system similar to what we use. We are sending recon teams to investigate known Vault-Tec pre-war locations for further clues. Their bunker was built pre-war. The clues on where to find it, how it was originally accessed, may be a needle in a haystack, but they're out there somewhere.
So they're only 3 sections, or 4 sections of the assignment. I just finished the first one. Not that bad.
How thoughtful.
This isn't anything like training.
Can we stay here?
Hey. Hey.
What you need?
It's time for us to part ways.
Sure. I'll head home for now. Watch yourself out there.
Strong find things to take.
Hey there.
What do you think about our relationship?
Sometimes I...
Follow me.
You got it.
I need a fucking
Heads up.
drink.
What is it?
You should head home.
Understood. Watch yourself out there.
Always get so jumpy after a fight. What the?
Too much light.
Violence.
Ghouls not scare strong! Strong make 'em scared!
Use these logs for relevant data. Again, I have survived the hostilities.
Going down. Basement.
Detecting an increase in radiation.
Strong just getting started!
Got it.
am in combat again. Your enemies have been dispatched. I believe you're supposed to fight.
Strong fight! Strong smash!
Fucking
Come on!
Get up! Whole lot less of that.
What's on? Now wear your guns around my neck. Who's that?
Your pulse and vital signs
Okay,
are
cut
still
the
within
shit.
acceptable
Who is that?
parameters.
Nothing there now. What? Huh? Hearing shit.
You guys got me stirred up over nothing.
I'll give you that. Hey.
So how's the
hell
follow
no!
going?
We are fighting.
Alright, I'm hunting for a key card right now.
Trying to work on my assignment right now for the same class I did the lab for. Just as fucking unclear as the lab was.
I know, I can hear you typing.
It's like,
Uh-huh.
let me try this.
Sounds like
Finally works. No, the problem was that, long story short,
disappearing act, huh?
the, hold on.
The hell was that? Ah, man.
The assignment tells you to use specific programs in a Linux terminal to basically long short end is use specific programs in Linux terminal to create files, right? Of course, if the if for example the one I had the version of Linux because he assigned different types of Linux to everyone class based on groups, which I'm not bothering with my group because they didn't bother communicating with me for the first weeks of this bloody assignment. No, I'm not helping you. But long story short, version of Linux he gave me doesn't have one of the programs that he's put in the assignment as a request. Okay, use this program to do this particular part of the assignment. It's like that program doesn't exist in this version of Linux. Like,
What the fuck was that?
That's a little ridiculous.
Time to die!
can't be. If I can get the second part done, I'll be happy. That'll mean half the assignment is done.
dangerous, combat is quite vigorous exercise. Engaging defensive counter.
Don't you die on me!
This place is so violent.
National HQ has me staying in Boston the next 10 days to hand out spots to Vaults 59, 75, 81, and 111. I asked about Vault 95, but they said it's a drug rehab facility, so some doctor is handling it. Weird, right? A bit chilly here compared to California, but I'm looking forward to visiting the area again and catching a World Series game at Fenway Park. Wish I knew more people here. The baseball tickets are a nice perk. Would have been awesome if HQ had sprung for a hotel room with an ocean view. Headed up to Sanctuary Hills again tomorrow morning. 2 households I still need to sign up. Was going to take care of it today, but traffic was a doozy. Hopefully I'll be done tomorrow in time to catch Game 4 of the World Series. Can't believe the Red Sox might actually win. I also need to follow up on the employee bunker access cards I was supposed to receive. Just a precaution in the event of nuclear incident while I'm here, they tell me. I'm leaving Monday though, so I guess it doesn't matter. Didn't think I'd make it back here in one piece. Can't believe those bastards forgot to put me on the list. I should have followed up on the vault access cards I was supposed to pick up, but still, 20 years of loyal service and they just left me there to die. Right after those thugs in power armor denied me entrance to Vault 111, it occurred to me that I was canvassing Sanctuary Hills suburb earlier in the morning. I noticed what looked like a bomb shelter on the side of one of the houses towards the back of the neighborhood. I sprinted to the bomb shelter and couldn't believe my luck when it was open. I guess whoever lived here wasn't home that morning. I made it inside just before the blast hit. That shelter saved my life. There was even a hazmat suit inside and an ample supply of food and water, but it wasn't enough to protect me from the radiation. The hazmat suit was damaged and the shelter wasn't deep enough to block out all the radiation. After a while, my skin started flaking off and I turned into something hideous. Apparently it wasn't the only one this happened to, but it wasn't until last week I discovered there were others like me, ghouls they're calling us. It beats being dead, I suppose. After about 3 weeks in Sanctuary Bomb Shelter, I was going to stir crazy and couldn't take it anymore. I put on the hazmat suit, opened the bunker, and ventured out into the neighborhood. It was the middle of the day, but the sun was barely getting through the ash clouds. And then two doors down, one of those Mr. Handy robots with a British accent was just trimming the burnt hedges as if nothing had happened. There was no one else alive. The robot wasn't great company. He seemed completely in denial about the reality of the atomic war, but he was the only one I could talk to. Fast forward almost a year later, and my food supply in the shelter was running low. Not like any crops were going to grow in the ground, so I was forced to venture outside of Sanctuary to scavenge for food. Got lucky with food and supplies in a super-duper mart in Lexington and some residences nearby. Finally made it back here to the hotel today. Can't believe the power still works. I still have a list of all the Commonwealth vault locations. Gonna head out tomorrow and see if there's any way in. Maybe one of those other vaults has updated records showing that I'm supposed to be on the list. Vaults 75, 81, and 95 are sealed up. If I found a Pip-Boy, maybe it would have been different, but I banged on the door, didn't get any response. Never made it to Vault 59. Looks like Ground Zero for basically right on top of it. So no point, those guys were toast. I figured my best bet might be Vault-Tec employee bunker in Norwood, Massachusetts, south of I-95, just to the west of Highway 1. It's only a couple of miles southeast of the Vault 95, so I was excited to check it out. But it's gone. Not just the employee vault, but the whole area. The nuclear blast must have caused a shift in the landscape and the river, because the entire suburb is now covered in swamps from where the Charles River overflowed. The place where the employee bunker is supposed to be is potentially submerged underwater. The nearest landmark is a little island just north of a large tree in the middle, and the only nearby property still habitable is a small farm just northwest with a run-down house on it. Somerville Place, I think the side said, but no one was living there. Going to check out 2 more vaults this week, 88 and 114. Vault 88 is a long shot since they weren't remotely close to finishing it. Not optimistic about 114 either. There were rumors I heard, just whispers silly, that the vault was a boondoggle. Theory goes that the Vault-Tec contracts with the federal government from the Commonwealth vaults were just cost plus, but the feds weren't covering the cost of the Vault-Tec employee bunker, so Vault-Tec had an incentive to run expenses for payroll and supplies through Vault 114 project, while some of the actual workers and supplies were being routed to the employee bunker. I never paid much attention to the rumors at the time, but after leaving me out to dry, I can believe Vault-Tec is capable of almost anything. Who builds a vault inside a train station anyways? Isn't that the opposite of airtight? If they intended to open the vault, why wasn't I assigned to hand out any spots for it? Ugh, this is depressing. I don't feel like writing anymore. Been a while. I was feeling lonely again. Figured writing some might raise my spirits. That asshole Mayor McDonough and his bigot constituents kicked all of us ghouls out of Diamond City for good. I'll keep this hotel as a fallback, but it's lonely here. I'm gonna give Good Neighbor a shot. Sure, it's a hotbed for murder, extortion, and chem dealers, but at least us ghouls are welcome there. Maybe it will feel somewhat like home. So, you remember that guy at the beginning of the game that signed us up for Vault-Tec?
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't get his employee access card, so he was denied access to the vault at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm playing the Outcasts and Remnants DLC, and it just showed me that his access cards were lost in the mail, and I just picked them up. And now he's got like a whole terminal story of him just wandering the wasteland.
Well, he has been living for several hundred years.
Yeah, no, but like it's incorporating backstory into the game that was never fully explained. That's why I love doing these mods, especially the guy that does these ones in particular. He puts a lot of effort into them.
You must take care to reduce from those you absorb. My time
Overseer Perry started the meeting with a moment of silence for Russell Cass, who gave his life sealing the roof entrance where the water from the Charles River was flooding in. Perry noted that without Russell's sacrifice, none of us would be here today. Councilman Olson proposed, and the council approved an additional moment of silence for the friends and family who did not make it into the vault in time. Councilwoman Snow then proceeded to give an update on the structural integrity of the vault. The former street entrance to the reception area appears to have sunk 10 feet below the storage room and is completely flooded. At best we can tell, the nuclear blast triggered an earthquake that shifted the course of the Charles River, burying the vault entrance completely underwater and turning the surrounding Norwood area into a swamp. With the exception of the reception room, the rest of the vault was built into solid rock and appears to have no structural damage. We will need to build an enclosure around the flooded area inside the vault door, as there is no practical method to drain the water. Councilwoman Naharis then provided an update on communications. We received confirmation of nuclear detonations in New York, Pennsylvania via television news, and reported on several other detonations via radio. Then all communication was cut off. Our antenna on the surface appears to have been knocked out. At this point we have no communication with the outside world. We have to assume the worst. The council then discussed options for escaping the vault. A motion to dig out the vault was voted down on account of the risk of structural integrity of the vault, exposing residents to radiation and a risk of looters on the surface raiding the food supply. A motion to invest additional personnel and resources into Vault-Tech's research on teleportation was approved. Councilwoman Lang began the meeting with a report of the vault population. Operation Ark was initiated in the weeks before Armageddon Day. Unfortunately, most invitations to pre-selected scientists, engineers, and researchers were ignored. The population of the vault is only 96 people, including 28 children, and there is approximately 230 to 250 years worth of food, assuming reasonable population growth projections. The magic number of people needed to avoid inbreeding and create a viable population for multi-generational vault occupancy has been calculated by researchers at 160 people. However, with some social engineering, it is possible to halve this to 80 people. We have no contact with the outside world, nor do we have a way to escape the vault at present. We and our offspring may be stuck here for centuries. To avoid inbreeding, we will be forced to implement certain mating restrictions, including reproduction must be postponed to later in a woman's fertile period, at least age 34, to create longer time gaps between generations. Genetic screening will be required before mating between a given pair is allowed in order to prevent offspring with any harmful recessive characteristics that might lead to increased healthcare loads and deplete scarce medical resources. All pregnancies will require a test to prove paternity. Additional children beyond 3 per female will require approval on case-by-case basis. The penalties for violating the above restrictions will need to be more severe and include forced termination of the pregnancy. After vigorous debate and discussion, the council voted to approve Lang's proposal. The council's next discussion and approved a plan for food rationing. Councilman Gordon began the meeting with a report on his team's research into human teleportation. If our ancestors had known it would take 160 years to perfect, they never would have approved the research into teleportation. The early progress with teleportation photons led to false hope. Again and again, we always seemed to be one step away from the breakthrough we needed, but we finally cracked it. Wearing a receiver on the subject's chest yesterday, we successfully teleported a member of my research team from inside the vault to the surface above and teleported him back safely. This changes everything. We can now send scouts out to assess the habitability of the Commonwealth. Our first order of business should be to repair the antenna on the surface so we can receive and monitor communications from the outside world. The council discussed and approved Gordon's proposal, forming a scouting intel division, hereafter to be known as Vault-Tech Recon. Councilwoman Grayson began the meeting with a report on Vault-Tech Recon's scouting missions. As we hypothesized, the immediate vicinity of the vault is no longer dangerously irradiated, although the background radiation is still above safe levels for long-term exposure. Pockets of more intense radiation are common, and the surface water is not safe to drink. Scouts will need to carry supplies of Rad-X with them in all future expeditions outside the vault, but hazmat suits are unnecessary. Our old maps of the Commonwealth are largely useless. The Charles River no longer flows the course it used to, and the area surrounding our vault is a swamp. Nearly all pre-war roads have disappeared or are no longer passable. We heard rumors of super mutants, ghouls, and deathclaws, confirming the genetics team hypothesis about mutation due to extended radiation exposure. The good news is that human civilization still survives. There are settlements at Fenway Park, now called Diamond City, Skullway Square, now known as Good Neighbor, and Bunker Hill. The old Initech military installation over near Millis, Massachusetts survived and has been turned into a new Las Vegas-style tourist destination called Fusion City. Seemed like a nice enough people, although their dress code could use some reevaluation. This council meeting has been called to decide the following issues: whether the vault should make its presence known to the Commonwealth and begin trade, or remain hidden; whether the council should inform the general vault population of the existence and extent of life on the surface, or maintain the current position that the surface is uninhabitable, nuclear-ravaged wasteland with no realistic hope of existence outside of the vault. The council voted to maintain the status quo, keeping the vault closed and the general population unaware of life on the surface, so as to not create panic and unrest and to protect jobs from outside competition. The minority opinion summarized by Councilwoman Dawes noted the following: food stores will begin running low by the end of the century. Isolationism is not a suitable long-term strategy. Better to engage the world now when we are not yet desperate for food and supplies and have a valuable technology teleportation with which to trade. Using fake radio transmissions to convince vault dwellers of the hopelessness of life on the surface will eventually backfire. The longer vault dwellers are involved in scouting missions on the Commonwealth, the harder it will be to maintain the illusion about life on the surface, leading to a class system of those in the know versus those on the outside, and potentially a police state if suspicion and disintention grows among the general vault population. The chairwoman thanked Dawes for sharing his unsolicited opinion, and the meeting was adjourned. Overseer Elaine Redding was called this emergency council meeting to address what is being referred to as the Sydney incident. On March 13th, a 3-person recon team was teleported to the Dunwich Borers Quarry to search for drilling equipment. Shortly after arrival, the team reported encountering a non-hostile civilian named Sydney, who was investigating the mine for paranormal activity. The events that followed are unclear. It appears a group of raiders showed up at the top of the quarry and opened fire on the recon squad. Agents Stark and Tarley were taken out by a sniper, and we lost contact with Agent Tarth shortly thereafter. When Mission Control attempted to teleport the agents back to the vault, the only person who showed up was Sydney. She claims to have grabbed the teleportation transmitter off Tarth's body, and as a result we teleported Sydney back instead of Tarth. Sydney was kept in a holding area while Mission Control contacted the Council to figure out what to do with her. As Sydney was the first surface dweller to infiltrate the vault since the Great War, there was no protocol to deal with such an event. Nor did Mission Control anticipate Sydney's lockpicking skills. She escaped the holding area and proceeded to explore the vault, talking to residents about life on the surface. By the time security realized Sydney was gone, reapprehended her, and moved her to a more secure holding cell, she had already talked to a dozen of the residents. The Council is now faced with the deciding fate of Sydney, and by extension reopening debate on the policy of remaining hidden to the Commonwealth and managing perception with vault residents regarding life on the surface. Overseer Redding and Councilman Pinkman have proposed the following plan: release Sydney back to the Commonwealth, reveal ourselves in open trade with the Commonwealth, share the entire story of life on the surface with the vault's population. Councilman Lincoln and Councilwoman Fring have proposed the opposite, arguing that opening trade with the Commonwealth presents too many risks, including but not limited to violence, radiation, and disease. Releasing Sydney back to the surface will potentially reveal Vault-Tech's existence to the Commonwealth, forcing her hand. The only safe option is to execute her. Overseer Redding maintains that the genie can't be put back in that bottle. The truth about the surface has already been circulated. The Vault residents will want to see the surface for themselves. Attempting to deny the truth at this point would only lead to growing discontent, potentially requiring brutal enforcement tactics against our own people to squash the truth and maintain order. We've already built the machinery to turn off the lobby area into a teleportation hub for travel throughout the Commonwealth. All we need to do is open it and begin trading. Doing so would eliminate the need for food rationing and restrictions on whom one can marry and when they can have children. We could use teleportation as the first step to rebuilding the Commonwealth. Lincoln reminded the Council that its primary duty is to protect the safety of the Vault residents, that the standard of living in the Vault, although far from ideal, is still higher than living standards at the Wasteland, and that opening the Vault to potentially better armed Wastelanders threaten the Vault's entire existence. A vote of the Council has been called for tomorrow. In addition, Councilman Lincoln has cast a vote of no confidence in Overseer Redding. The motion has received significant support from other Council members to force a referendum vote on Redding's job as Overseer. The purpose of this meeting is to decide the following issues: whether Sydney shall be released, detained, or executed, whether the Vault will open trade with the Commonwealth, whether the full extent of life on the surface will be revealed to the Vault residents, and whether Redding or Lincoln will serve as as Overseer going forward. Prior to voting, both candidates shall be permitted to take brief statements. As the challenger, Councilman Lincoln, shall speak first. Councilman Lincoln: we're going to make this Vault great again. We'll start by rejecting Elaine Redding's plan to allow Wastelanders in and instead beef up our defenses. There are some real bad dudes out there in the Wasteland, and we're going to keep them out. Let's get real, folks. If the Commonwealth were going to start sending their people here, they're not going to send their best. They'll send people who have lots of problems, and they'll bring those problems with them. They'll bring chems. They'll bring crime. They're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. All I'm proposing is a continued ban on Wastelanders entering the Vault until our security forces can figure out what's going on, and the people support that. Any polls of our citizens showing otherwise are just fake news. I'm sorry, but the people want Vault security and thorough vetting. We also need a more protective barrier to shield the vault, and I'll build it. I'll build a great barrier, and nobody builds barriers better than me, believe me. And I'll build it very inexpensively. I will build a great, beautiful barrier over our vault entrance. And I will make Diamond City pay for it. Mark my words. It's going to be terrific. Frankly, Overseer Redding should be ashamed of her record. She should resign for not calling the surface threat from raiders, super mutants, and others what it really is. Radical wasteland terrorism. Crooked Elaine has wasted a huge amount of vault resources trying to implement a failed public teleportation transit system that will do nothing except steal jobs and expose us to crime. It's a failed program, I hate to tell you, like seriously failing. She has not done a good job. She's been a very bad overseer, and she's been very unfair. And look at her face. Why would anyone vote for that? I mean, she's a woman. I'm not supposed to say bad things, but really, folks, come on. Are we serious? She's unattractive, both inside and out. I fully understand why her former husband left her for a man. He made a good decision. Don't get me wrong, I have so many fabulous friends who happen to be gay, but I am a traditionalist. If Elaine Redding can't satisfy her husband, what makes her think she can satisfy the needs of the vault? As the council who runs things, we should relieve Elaine Redding of her duties. I mean, look at her, right in that smug, ugly face of hers, and say, Elaine, you're fired. Overseer Redding replied, I think those comments speak for themselves. I wouldn't spend a moment wondering what Don Lincoln means, except to point out that every Don Lincoln sentence has words. Sometimes 3 words, or 2. And they're great sentences, terrific sentences, that I can tell you, believe me, they're great, with the best words. Not very big words, but terrific repeated words. And maybe I'm getting under Lincoln's skin a little bit, because I do have the support of majority of the vault residents, but I assume as the council members you're all smart enough to see the biggest picture. That trade and openness with the Commonwealth will make us prosperous. The council has heard the arguments and taken a vote. The results are follows. Councilwoman Lincoln shall assume control of the overseer immediately. The vault will remain closed to the Commonwealth. The status quo shall remain in effect with respect to disclosing the existence of life on the surface. Sydney shall be executed. There will be no further business. The meeting is adjourned. Overseer Lincoln has called this emergency council meeting to decide the fate of the perpetrators of the failed uprising to reinstate Elaine Redding as overseer. Although Redding has denied any involvement in the attempted coup, she is being tried for treason along with the rest of the group. After several hours of deliberation, the council decided the following. While death is a suitable punishment for treason, the vault cannot afford the reduction in gene pool diversity. The old animal research holding facility shall be converted to a prison. The conspirators of the coup, including Redding, shall be imprisoned there indefinitely, except in cases where the vault's reproductive needs take priority. Vault security will be overhauled, and the Vault Tech Recon Division shall hereafter be known as Vault Tech Corporate Security, taking a more proactive approach to eliminating potential threats both in the Commonwealth and within the Vault. Public mention of life on the surface shall become an offense punishable by imprisonment. Fucked up shit.
Yeah.
It's basically Trump.
Yeah. Sort of kind of like listening to that, it's like, well, fuck.
I'm gonna build a great barrier. Nobody builds barriers like me, and I'll make Diamond City pay for it. Let's continue on.
Good morning! Vault-Tech calling.
Oh, this is just what I need right now.
You can't begin to know how happy I am to finally speak with you. Not going to take too much of your time. I just need to verify some information, that's all. Need to make sure you're cleared for entrance in the unforeseen event of total atomic annihilation.
It sounds to me like you're interested in becoming more than just friends.
Oh, me too. You have no idea.
Okay, what's really going on here? What do you want from me?
Why, nothing less than your entire future.
Go fuck yourself, you crazy robot.
Ha ha! That's the spirit. Now, let's see.
You think that hurts strong?
Good morning. Vault-Tec calling.
Hi.
Good morning. Vault-Tec calling.
Now wear your guts around my neck. Gotta splatter your brain. Now wear your guts around my neck. Strong wants to hear. Who? Ah!
Yes.
Human too weak to carry every... thing.
That's what you want.
Get it, Grenade!
I'll make this quick!
Get down! Get down! Incoming! You humans, so stupid, so weak!
Wait, the hell?
Oh no.
Ah!
Run!
Done.
Excuse me.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing is impeccable. I'm Elaine Redding, former overseer of the Vault Tech employee bunker.
Vault Tech, ugh. What happened to you guys?
It's a long story. Perhaps another time we can sit down over a cup of tea and chat about it, but right now we need to focus. Reinforcements are almost certainly on the way.
I want to hear the details first.
Look, I can't sum up 200 years of history in the 3 minutes we have before bullets start flying again. I realize what you've heard about Vault Tech probably isn't positive, but that was 6 generations ago. The people in this prison had nothing to do with that. In fact, it's the opposite. We got stuck in here for advocating a shift away from Vault Tech's history of deception and paranoia. But it doesn't really matter if you believe me. You just have to realize that we have a common enemy, and like it or not, that makes us allies.
Okay, I was just curious.
All right, so the door out of this place is locked by a password-protected terminal. Lucky for us, they haven't changed the password in over 5 years. So here you go. There's a sizable payday if you can get us out of here, but it's not intuitive. For now, find the teleportation schematics. They're going to be locked away in one of the storage areas. Once you have the schematics, you'll need to take out Overseer Lincoln. Find Lincoln's Overseer keycard, and you can use that to access the teleporters and travel back to the Commonwealth. The central hub for the teleporter is already set up on this end. It was the last thing I implemented before being imprisoned. There's going to be additional security once you exit the detention center, but probably nothing worse than we've already dealt with. You ready to head out?
Absolutely. Let's get out of here.
Take care of yourself out there.
What the?
What?
Whoa! Hmm? What? Thought I... Nah. Let's do this! Won't be tonight. Don't think I will hurt you.
Huh? Nothing after all.
Come back here, damn it.
Who?
Just one day I'd like to knock a shot at.
That's it.
What's that noise?
Figure you won't just run, right?
Come back!
Someone help!
Nothing can beat strong!
Who's there?
Let's do this.
Something's out there.
What just happened?
Keep your heads down.
Where'd you go?
What the?
Yeah, stay gone.
Dead not need things, we take!
Sweet.
Maybe they're still here, watching us. Here 1 second, gone the next? Who moves that fast?
Why don't you people just leave us alone?
Nice.
I ain't letting you get me.
Trying to kill this fucker, but he keeps teleporting every time I leave every time I get into the room.
Time to die!
I don't think it's actually possible to kill him.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna...
Sweet.
Got a message from Lundberg over at Initech, who, by the way, is a fantastic leader, doing an absolutely terrific job running Fusion City. Amazing guy. I know a lot about Fusion City. I have many friends in Fusion City. Many friends. I'd love to get to Fusion City someday because of my relationship with them. I have such great respect for Lundberg. We're going to get along great with Fusion City and work closely together. As I told Lundberg when I became overseer, the days of the Commonwealth treating Fusion City like a second-class citizen are over. If they ever need help defending their nuclear stockpile, all Lundberg has to do is say the word. Because as I've repeated many times, Initech has nukes, and not just any nukes. They're the best nukes, terrific nukes. That I can tell you, believe me, they're great. For that reason, the Commonwealth must come to the table willing to accept that the glowing sea is Fusion City's territory, and it will forever exist as Fusion City's territory. And so Lundberg reached out to me because he wanted to know when was the last time I'd ever seen a thin person drinking a Diet Nuka-Cola. Come to think of it, I've never seen a thin person drinking Diet Nuka. Let's face it, that stuff just doesn't work. It makes you hungry. The more Diet Nuka, Diet Vim, etc. you drink, the more weight you gain. You know, I'm like a smart person. I don't need a briefing to be told the same thing in the same words every single day for the next 8 years. In the meantime, my staff is great, and they're being briefed. And I'm being briefed also. I'm speaking with myself, number one, because I have a very good brain and I've said a lot of things. My primary consultant is myself. My IQ is one of the highest. Please don't feel stupid or insecure. It's not your fault. The beauty of me is that I'm very rich. My fingers are long and beautiful, as it has been well documented, or various other parts of my body. And I'm the least racist person you'll ever meet. Besides, you know, it doesn't really matter what people say as long as you get a young and beautiful piece of ass. That's why women are so attracted to me. I just start kissing them. I don't even wait. And when you're the overseer, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. Women have one of the great acts of all time. The smart ones act very feminine and needy, but inside they are real killers. The person who came up with the expression the weaker sex was either very naive or had to be kidding. I've seen women manipulate men with just a twitch of their eye, perhaps another body part. Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody. Nobody has more respect. Screw this. I'm not waiting around here to get shot. Keycard is in the floor safe in the bedroom. Good luck to whoever replaces me, loser. Headed to Fusion City. Great city. The best. This place is the worst. It's sad.
Let's do it. That's what you. Gonna be a good fight.
Shit. She's dead.
No one can beat strong.
Excuse me.
Congratulations on completing the mission. The scouts radio in that you also found a working teleporter and acquired the schematics. I can't imagine what you must have gone through to obtain those.
I've been having too much fun blowing things up to think about it.
The prospect of teleportation changes everything. I'm going to spend some time with my team reviewing the schematics. Check back in a couple of days and we'll discuss the next steps.
Okay, it's been over 3 hours. I'm gonna call it here for tonight. We'll continue off with the Brotherhood of Gold tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you later. Peace.